Friday morning, yay! And today's fragrance of the day and also today's review is going to be Acqua Di Parma, and it is called Vaniglia. I'm not sure if you can see, it's just a decant and it's a Harrods exclusive at the moment, I believe, and it's kind of in their more expensive ingredients line. So this one of course is based on the main ingredient of vanilla, which is one of my favourite notes in perfume. So when young man was offering to do decants, a split on it on one of the Facebook groups, I had to get in there. So here we go. Quite a lot. And what it is a, as you would expect from Acqua Di Parma, it is citrusy. And it's definitely a very citrusy opening, but you do smell vanilla straight away. So you can smell citruses and vanilla. What citruses do I actually smell? Kind of difficult to say. It's one of those nondescript citrus accords. Possibly lemon. Probably mostly lemon and maybe a touch of orange. It could even be a hint of lime. It's a very standard citrusy smell. It's not very sharp or sour. It's kind of mellowed down by that added vanilla. So it's a more mellowy citrus, although it is still refreshing with vanilla, and I think I'm getting just a hint of woods, something a little bit like cedar, maybe even a tiny touch of isoe super. And that's really all I'm getting in the opening. So I'll come back and give you a bit more info later on today. So my final thoughts on Acqua Di Parma Vaniglia. Well, I wore it all the way up till just after lunchtime. So that was for about 5 hours. And my impressions were that it opened with that kind of nondescript citrusy accord, which is very nice, but it doesn't light my fire. And you can smell that powdery vanilla, and then the citrus is kind of mellowed down on my skin, and I was left with a powdery, vanillic, almond-like accord with just a hint of the citruses, and it didn't really do that much more than that. Now the notes in the fragrance you have, they're very, very simple, and that's kind of what you get. You have orange, bergamot, vanilla, musk, jasmine, sambac. I think that's it. The perfume is Francois Damachy and it was released this year. It's available only in Harrods at the moment. I'm not sure if that will become a widely available, but for now it's just in Harrods. It's £178 for 100 mils. Quite a lot of money. So back to how it smells. Very, very simple. Quite nice. Pretty nice. But it really does not excite me. It literally is a kind of generic citrus accord with a very nice vanilla, slightly almond-like, a bit powdery, ever so tiny bit floral, but I don't really notice jasmine per se. It's just there's a slight floral element, a white floral element with that almondy vanilla-like base. The longevity, I'm guessing, was about probably around the 7 hours mark, but it was quite close to my skin quite quickly on. So that's why come lunchtime, I just needed to spray something else. So on that score, I don't think it's worth the money. I won't buy a bottle. I definitely won't buy a bottle at that price. I wouldn't even buy it at a cheap designer price, because it doesn't do that much for me any more than a standard vanilla heavy sort of cheapy or designer fragrance. On that note, I do have an alternative for you that is in the same ballpark. I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but this one is Les Senteurs Gourmandes and it's called Tendre Madeleine. So this is orange and vanilla. It's supposed to smell like a fairy cakes or the Madeleine cake in France, which is like small, a bit like fairy cakes really, vanilla-y, orangey cakes, gorgeous. So that one there is super cheap. I think you get it for around 20-ish pounds for 100 mils there, and it's often compared to Xerjoff's Lira. Now I've sprayed some here. What you get with Tendre Madeleine is more citrus, but just really orange more so than anything else. There might be a hint of lemon mixed in with the orange, but mostly it's orange. Orange and vanilla and slightly almond-like again. Whereas the Acqua Di Parma, the citrus opening is a little bit more of a generic cologne citrus opening mixed in with the vanilla. Tendre Madeleine gives you better performance, it lasts a lot longer and it projects a lot longer from your skin, whereas Acqua Di Parma was pretty close to my skin. So if I was going to choose, I would go for Tendre Madeleine every single time. Now again, I'd like to reiterate, I'm not saying they are identical, I'm just saying that they are in that very same close ballpark. And if you've had a sniff of the Acqua Di Parma and you don't fancy spending £178 of your hard-earned money, I would definitely say you would be safe to blind buy that. It's close enough. I think I'm done. Short and sweet today because I don't have that much to say about this fragrance, so I'm sorry about that. It's not exactly a negative review, it's just not blowing me away. It is not lighting my fire and it is not getting my juices flowing. That's all for this video and I'll see you in the next one.